welcome to the show. Today, my guest is Scarlett Dorney. Hi, Scarlett.
Hi, Claire. How are you?
Good. Scarlett is an executive director at MSCI, and she is passionate about the financial services industry. And she has been successfully operating in that industry for 14 years now. Scarlett is known for her smart wit, her fast thinking and talking, and she stands for what she believes in. What you might not know about her is she is an avid fisherwoman.
Indeed. Good fun.
Yeah, I can imagine. Scarlett, I've got some quick questions for you to get to know you a little bit better. What is something you cannot live without?
Chocolate. Definitely chocolate.
Same. What are 3 words that describe you best?
Determined, bubbly, and also loyal, I think.
And what inspires you?
My parents, definitely. They've worked really hard to provide a good education for me and my brother, and they are definitely some of the smartest people I know as well.
Yeah, I can imagine. And what is the best advice you ever got?
I think it'd be to get a mentor. It's always good to learn from those around you.
And last but not least, what's your hidden talent?
Well, I was thinking about this, and I think it's probably that I'm an effective networker, and I think I have been ever since I was a little girl.
Yeah, and it comes in so handy, doesn't it?
Absolutely, especially in my role.
Yeah, I can imagine. Well, I'm excited to get started and love to hear your take on shifting leadership. So my first question to you is, what's your take on adaptability and where do you see opportunities to adapt?
So I guess opportunities and challenges sort of go together. And I think I'd have to say my current role has definitely presented its fair share of challenges. I only started a few months ago in this role, and I'd barely been in the office for 2 weeks when my colleague in the business actually resigned and went to a competitor. And then a couple of weeks after that, we all went into lockdown. So it's been in the space of a very short time, my sales target nearly doubled. I was unable to really have any client meetings, and I was expected to get up to speed with a whole new product set, which I hadn't actually sold before. So with these challenges, though, there were definitely some opportunities and a chance to establish some intrinsic motivation. So we've all been working from home, and I think we can all agree it's been a bit of a challenge getting used to that. But it has made it easier to connect with a lot of my global colleagues. I've been able to work outside of hours and really set in some good one-on-one time with them to get to know them and reconnect. Because I think it's really important to build relationships internally, not just externally.
Yeah.
And also with all the technological changes, I mean, look, we're even doing this interview via a Zoom at the moment, and with Teams and WebEx. It's actually been not too difficult to connect with clients. And again, working from home give you a bit more flexibility. So the opportunity there to interact with them has been great. And then also working in the ESG space is obviously very topical for a lot of people globally. So it's been really a great time to be in this space.
Yeah, I can imagine. And in those challenging times, working from home, trying to build your relationships, I can imagine that you've also already experienced times of pressure, right? How do you ensure strategic thinking is still prioritized then?
Absolutely. Good question. So look, I think there's a couple of points that help me stay motivated and increase my focus. And I think certainly with the new environment of working from home, structuring your day is really important. And it helps me maintain my self-discipline. I'm a bit of a list maker, and so being able to tick things off my list each day actually gives me a sense of achievement and motivates me. And I guess also on that part of the structure piece is exercise. So that gives you a chance to really clear your head. And it's actually, I go for a run every morning now to start my day, and it's sort of a little signal to sort of get myself up and running. But again, gives you a chance to declutter your mind and really sort of think things through, which is another really important sort of piece I've got to be thinking about more, is just making sure to slow down and take a breath. It's very easy to get carried away in the current environment. Everyone's running a million miles an hour, certainly in my business. So it's really, really important just to make sure you take some time, think through problems thoughtfully, and then you'll be able to solve problems for clients like that. And then one sort of other piece that I think's been quite useful for me, but again, given the current environment, is engaging with other people. I think diversity of thought is really, really important. Not everybody knows everything.
Yeah.
And I like to draw on colleagues or friends for their opinions, and to get better outcomes in the long run.
Yeah. Yeah, and you talk about thinking a lot and thoughts, and so I'm wondering, what do you do to keep up with leadership and industry developments?
Well, I guess a big part of that is sort of, keeping up with them, reinventing yourself, keeping up with the times.
Mm.
And I think adaptability in this space is really key. I like to draw on past experiences to learn what has worked and what didn't work. And again, it applies not only to myself, but to other people around me, because I think you can really learn a lot from other people.
Yeah.
We all learn from our mistakes, as I think we can agree on. And I look to these often when I'm looking at reinventing myself and just sort of keeping up to speed. I've certainly admired a lot of senior colleagues over the years in various different roles. And so I often ask myself, what characteristics does that person have that I lack and that I could adopt to make myself more successful? So that certain level of self-awareness and a willingness to adapt are really crucial. And then once you can see where certain behaviors haven't worked in the past, I think you're able to hopefully refine your skill set to make you more successful in the future.
Yeah. Wow, that is a good list, by the way. And how do you get clarity in complex dilemmas?
Well, I think it's very important to take a breath. I mentioned this before. Take a step back and just really look at the situation and really weigh up the pros and cons. And that often will take into account the risks that the situation presents.
Yeah.
I'm generally quite a risk-averse person, so I like to assess the situation and able to get that clarity. And again, this involves not just looking at my own experiences and what's happening for me at the time, but how have other people handled the situation or a similar situation. And so, for instance, starting this new role at MSCI, this came with its risks, but also some opportunities as well. It's as within this role, it's a brand new product set for me that I mentioned. So I needed to learn that from scratch. And I've come in at a pretty senior level. So of course there is a fear of failing. What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not smart enough? What if I don't meet my target? But within this situation, I remember that I actually previously worked at MSCI and I absolutely love my role. I love the people. I love the product, the culture. The CEO has done an amazing job there. And so I was able to sort of weigh the two situations up and decided obviously to move forward with this role. And so at the end of the day, also, I sort of think, well, how are you supposed to develop and grow, academically in your personal life if you don't actually think about wanting to take risks? I think more often than not, whilst it might be scary at the time, they often pay off.
When you reflected on the questions that I gave to you, what have you told yourself to do more or be more going forward?
Well, I guess, yeah, what else can I be doing differently, I suppose, and what else can I be doing better? So when I thought about what I would do differently going forward, I think it's really positive to maintain a positive frame of mind. I think a lot of us have worked in environments that may not necessarily have been conducive to getting the most out of ourselves and our colleagues.
Yeah.
And I think positive reinforcement is really good, particularly for my motivation. I'm certainly someone who works very hard, but I also enjoy celebrating the wins along the way. High achievement and a happy work environment don't have to be mutually exclusive. That's my new tagline. So going forward, I want to drive a really positive work culture and a constructive work environment, which really encourages people to bring their best self to work every day, because ultimately, this is what I believe will drive high performance.
I think it's full circle. You stand for what you believe in, and I love hearing all that. So thanks so much, Scarlett. It was great to have you on the show.
Thanks so much, Mel.
And thanks everyone for tuning in. I hope you be with us again next time. And in the meantime, I would say keep shifting. See you soon. Bye.